Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Lately, I've been hearing a ton about this thing
Okay.
called zk-Rollups.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, it kind of sounded like something straight out of Star Wars, you
Yeah.
know? But the more I dig into it,
Yeah,
the more I realize this could actually be a game changer for Ethereum,
for sure.
especially when it comes to this whole scalability thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to try to unpack that today.
Absolutely.
But first, for anyone who's like, wait, what are zk-Rollups in the first place?
Right.
Maybe just the super high level view.
Yeah, so in a nutshell,
Yeah.
zk-Rollups are all about making Ethereum faster, cheaper, and just way more efficient.
Okay.
It's basically like adding an express lane to the network,
Yeah.
you know?
Got it.
So we can handle a lot more transactions without compromising on that security that we all love about Ethereum.
Okay, so we're talking about a layer 2 solution, right?
Exactly.
Something that sits on top of the main Ethereum blockchain.
Mhm.
But how do they actually speed things up? I mean,
Yeah, so picture this. You've got a ton of people all trying to squeeze through a single doorway at once.
okay.
It's going to be slow. It's going to be congested.
Right, total bottleneck.
That's kind of what's happening on Ethereum right now.
Okay.
A disk rollup is like creating a separate, wider lane for all those people to walk through.
Okay.
So we take transactions off-chain,
Yeah.
bundle them all up together,
Right.
and then submit just one single proof back to the main Ethereum chain.
So instead of checking each transaction one by one, we're kind of grouping them up and verifying them in bulk.
Precisely. It's all about efficiency, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do we know that everything is still secure?
Right.
If we're moving stuff off-chain.
Yeah, that's the magic of zero-knowledge proofs.
Okay, the zero knowledge part. I
Yeah.
was hoping we'd get to that.
They're like the secret sauce that makes this all work.
Okay.
It's like proving, something without actually revealing what.
That sounds like some serious mind-bending stuff.
It is pretty wild.
Can you give me a real-world example?
Sure. Let's say you want to prove that you're over 18 without showing your ID.
Okay.
You could use a zero-knowledge proof to do that.
Really?
Yep. You can mathematically prove you meet the age requirement without revealing your actual birth date or any other personal info.
That's incredible. So we're basically using cryptography to build this trustless system
Right.
where we can verify things without actually seeing all the details.
Precisely. And there are different types of zero-knowledge proofs out there, like zk-SNARKs and zk-STARs,
Yeah.
each with their own little quirks. But the basic idea is the same, proving something's true without spilling the beans.
Okay, this is starting to click for me.
Good.
It seems like zk-Rollups could be a real game changer for Ethereum.
Absolutely.
We actually have a really cool article from WorldCoin Index that dives deeper into this.
Awesome.
But before we get into that, can you just walk me through the whole process step by step?
Sure thing.
How does this actually work in practice?
So it all starts with batching those transactions together,
Okay.
like gathering up a bunch of letters and putting them in one envelope to mail them all at once.
Makes sense.
This reduces the load on the Ethereum network.
Right. Okay, so we bundled everything up.
Right.
Now what?
Then we create this thing called a zk-SNARK proof.
Okay.
This basically proves that all those transactions in the batch are actually legit.
So a super compact receipt for the whole bundle.
Exactly. And it's very efficient to check.
Gotcha.
Then we take that proof
Uh-huh.
and we submit it back to the main Ethereum chain.
Okay.
It's like posting that receipt on a public bulletin board.
Right.
So everyone can see that the transactions have been checked and they're good to go.
So we don't have to store all the individual transaction details on Ethereum itself.
Nope, just the proof.
Okay, so we're saving space and making things way more efficient.
Exactly. It's like creating a streamlined verification system
All right.
that offloads all the heavy lifting to this separate layer.
But still keeps that security and integrity of the main chain.
Precisely. That's why zk-Rollups are considered such a promising solution.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting to see why.
We get the efficiency of off-chain processing,
Uh-huh.
but with the security of on-chain verification.
Okay, this is fascinating stuff. I'm really curious to see how this plays out in the real world.
Yeah, me too.
So let's dig into that WorldCoin Index article and explore some specific examples of how zk-Rollups are being used
Sounds good.
and what kind of impact they're having.
Let's do it. So are you ready to see how this tech is actually being used out there in the wild?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm especially curious about this whole idea of finality that the article kept mentioning.
Uh-huh.
It seems like that's a pretty big deal when you're comparing zk-Rollups to other layer 2 solutions.
Yeah, for sure. Finality is super important in the blockchain world.
Okay.
Basically, it's the point of no return.
Okay.
Once a transaction hits finality, it's set in stone. It can't be changed or reversed.
Makes sense. So how does that work with zk-Rollups?
Well, with zk-Rollups, finality happens almost instantly.
Oh, wow.
Remember that cryptographic proof we were talking about?
Yeah, the little receipt.
Exactly. Once that proof is verified on the main Ethereum chain,
Uh-huh.
boom, all the transactions in that batch are final.
Oh, wow. So there's no, like, waiting period.
Nope, no chance of someone coming in and challenging those transactions.
So it's like sending a certified letter.
Right.
Once it's signed, sealed, and delivered, that's it.
Exactly. Now, compare that to something like optimistic rollups.
Okay.
They work on more of a trust but verify kind of system.
Okay.
So things are processed really fast,
Uh-huh.
but there's this window of time,
Okay.
usually about a week, where anyone can challenge a transaction if they think something fishy's going on.
Wait, so someone could potentially reverse a transaction?
Yeah, kind of.
After it's already gone through?
It's a trade-off.
Yeah. Okay.
Optimistic rollups are all about speed,
Right.
but you sacrifice that immediate finality.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of uncertainty there.
Interesting. So if I'm getting this right, zk rollups are like the more secure but maybe slightly slower option?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
They're like the slow and steady wins the race approach.
Exactly. You get that peace of mind knowing that once a transaction is done, it's done.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
And that's why they're being used for things where security and immutability are super important. Right?
Exactly. They're gaining a lot of traction in those areas.
Okay, cool. So let's talk real-world applications.
Right.
What are some examples of zk rollups in action today?
Well, the World Coin Index article highlighted a few key areas.
Okay.
One of the most exciting ones is DeFi.
Oh, DeFi, decentralized finance.
Yeah.
I've been hearing so much about that lately.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
All those decentralized exchanges and lending platforms.
That's not really cool.
But I also hear they can be expensive to use.
Yeah, you're talking about those pesky gas fees.
Yeah, those can be a real killer, especially if you're making a lot of small transactions.
Right, and that's where zk rollups come in. They can drastically reduce those fees
Really?
by bundling transactions together and moving them off-chain.
So it's like giving DeFi a performance boost.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of projects are actually using this tech?
Well, one really cool example is DYDX.
Okay.
It's a decentralized derivatives exchange
Okay.
built on Starkware's zk rollup technology.
Sakura. Okay.
They're achieving some crazy high transaction speeds and really low fees.
So it's actually working.
Yeah, it's
Right.
pretty impressive.
What other applications are out there?
Well, another area where zk rollups are making waves is the world of NFTs.
Oh, NFTs. Non-fungible tokens.
Those are everywhere these days.
I know, right? It seems like everyone's creating or collecting them.
It's the new digital gold rush.
I have to admit I'm still a little fuzzy on how those work.
Okay, well, in a nutshell,
Yeah.
an NFT is basically a digital certificate of ownership.
Okay.
It's recorded on a blockchain.
Gotcha.
It can represent anything really like digital art collectibles, virtual real estate, even in-game items.
Oh, wow. So it's like a digital deed or a collector's item.
Yep, something you can own and trade online.
But I imagine there are challenges with NFTs too, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. One of the biggest hurdles is the cost.
Okay.
Minting and trading NFTs on Ethereum can be really expensive.
Yeah, I can see that those gas fees would add up quickly.
Exactly, especially for creators who are just starting out.
Right. So how are zk rollups helping with that?
Well, imagine you're an artist
Okay.
and you want to create a series of NFTs for your fans
Uh-huh.
using a zk rollup-based NFT marketplace like Immutable X.
Immutable X, okay.
You can mint those NFTs for a fraction of the cost.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a game changer for creators.
Right.
It allows them to reach a wider audience and actually make some money from their work.
It's like democratizing the art world.
I like that. Yeah, making it easier for everyone to participate.
This is really cool. Are there any other applications we should touch on?
Yeah, one more I think is worth mentioning is micropayments.
Micropayments. Okay, I've heard that term, but what exactly are those?
So imagine being able to send like tiny fractions of a cryptocurrency
Okay.
to pay for things like online content
Oh,
or in-game items or even just to tip someone for a great tweet.
okay.
Those tiny transactions, those are micropayments.
I see. So like digital pocket chain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the problem is those tiny transactions would normally get eaten up by gas fees on Ethereum.
Right, they'd cost more than they're worth.
Exactly. But zk rollups can solve that
Okay.
by bundling thousands of those microtransactions together
Uh-huh.
and processing them off-chain.
So we're back to that bundling idea.
Right. It suddenly becomes feasible to send those small amounts of value quickly and cheaply.
Wow, that could really change things.
Yeah, it could unlock a whole new economy for digital content and services.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. There's a lot of potential there.
I gotta say my mind is officially blown.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
We've gone from what sounded like a sci-fi concept to real-world applications that could, like, change how we interact with everything.
Yeah.
From finance to art to online content.
For sure, it's moving fast, too.
But I know from experience that no tech is perfect.
Right.
What are some of the challenges facing zk-Rollups?
Yeah, that's a great question.
The article mentioned a few, and I'd love to unpack those a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest hurdles is definitely complexity.
Okay.
Building these zk-Rollup solutions,
Hmm.
it takes a deep understanding of cryptography and some pretty advanced software engineering.
So it's not just like any developer can jump in and start building these things.
Yeah, it's a specialized skill set for sure.
Right. So finding the right people to build these systems could be tough.
Yeah, the demand for developers in this space is huge.
Which could slow things down.
Right. Adoption might take a bit longer.
Okay. Are there any other technical limitations we should be thinking about?
Yeah, so remember how we talked about those zero-knowledge proofs?
Mm-hmm.
They're really efficient to verify.
Right.
But actually creating them,
Uh-huh.
that can be pretty computationally intensive.
Okay.
So as we process more and more transactions through a zk-Rollup,
Yeah.
the computational costs go up.
Ah, so even though zk-Rollups are supposed to make things more scalable,
Right.
there's still like a limit to how much they can handle.
Yeah, it's like needing a bigger engine as your car gets heavier.
That makes sense.
And then there's also the issue of compatibility.
Okay.
zk-Rollups aren't fully compatible with every single Ethereum feature or smart contract yet.
So it's not like a plug-and-play solution.
Not quite yet.
But even with those challenges, it seems like there's a lot of excitement around zk-Rollup.
Oh yeah, for sure. The potential benefits are huge.
Right. They offer a really solid solution to Ethereum's scalability issues.
Absolutely.
And as the tech gets better
Yeah.
and developers figure out ways to address these limitations,
Right.
I think we're going to see them everywhere.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So to bring this back to our listener,
Yeah.
what does this all mean for them?
Well, imagine a world where using Ethereum dApps and DeFi platforms is as easy and affordable as using any other app on your phone.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Right, no more worrying about those crazy gas fees.
Or waiting forever for transactions to go through.
Exactly. It would be a total game changer.
And like we talked about earlier,
Uh-huh.
zk-Rollups could also make NFTs way more accessible.
Right, imagine minting and trading NFTs without those sky-high fees.
That would open up so many possibilities.
Yeah, it would be huge for creators and collectors.
And then there's the whole micropayments thing.
Right.
If zk-Rollups can make those tiny transactions actually work,
Yeah.
it could unlock a whole new economy for digital content and services.
Yeah, new business models, new ways to monetize online content.
It's mind-boggling to think about all the potential applications.
It is. We're just scratching the surface here.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
Yeah, it has.
Thank you so much for walking us through all of this.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listener, we hope this has helped demystify zk-Rollups a bit.
It's a complex topic, but we hope you can see why it matters.
It's exciting stuff.
The blockchain world is constantly evolving.
Yeah, it never stops.
And zk-Rollups are just one example of the incredible innovation happening in this space.
Absolutely.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one building the next groundbreaking zk-Rollup application.
That's the spirit.
Until next time, keep diving deep.